Did you know that the most money you will ever make or the most success you will ever find in any business will actually come from repetition and not innovation? Now, that doesn't mean that we stop trying to innovate. What we're saying here is that once you do innovate something, find excellence in that and make that process repeatable and consistent throughout your organization. What's going on, guys? Faisal Velani here from Velani Consulting, and today I want to talk to you about consistency or excellence within your organization and how it's the key to your long-term success. Now, before we start, let me know in the comments below where you have found success in creating consistency within your business or where you've struggled. Most businesses today are completely focused on innovating or coming up with that one big idea or breakthrough that will lead them to new heights. They see companies like Apple who've launched their iPhone and Amazon who've taken over the world of retail by shipping and think that it was a single idea or a single finite point in time that got them there. This is far from the truth. Innovation was part of their success and not the main reason behind it. These companies and all others have had built-in habits within their organization to take that innovation and make it repeatable. They had created their own flywheel. Now, in his book, Good to Great, Jim Collins talks about two organizational performance concepts. There is the flywheel effect, and then there's the doom loop. So first, let's take a look at this flywheel effect. Think of a very large flywheel or a merry-go-round. Now, in order for you to turn this, you're going to have to start pushing it. As you begin to push, you might take a single step of progress and then a few others. Now, the problem is a single push really has no impact on this wheel. Doesn't matter how hard you push. So as you first start, you just have to keep pushing it, even though it seems almost impossible to turn. As you keep at it and as you keep pushing this very large flywheel, the momentum finally starts to build up and it becomes a little bit easier, but you still keep pushing it as hard as you can. Now, at some point, as you run behind this giant flywheel, it will take on a life of its own and it spins really, really fast. It really doesn't need much effort from you now to spin. In fact, at one point, it's actually not difficult to stop. At this point, Jim says that you've achieved a good to great flywheel effect within your organization. At this point in time, you are taking consistent action that are in alignment with your vision and achieving some visible results, which in turn energizes people, and momentum is easier to sustain without much effort. Now, the one thing that you have to note here is that if someone asked you, what was that one big breakthrough? Or what was that innovation in this case that made your flywheel spin so fast, you wouldn't really have an answer. And that's because there really wasn't one single thing that you did that made the spin so fast or that got you momentum. It really is about consistency over a long period of time. This is what happens with all successful companies. They build in habits of success over a long period of time and follow through on those habits each and every day. These habits are what create their flywheel. So then when they do create something that's great or they find success, people from the outside think that it was that innovation that brought them that success. They don't realize that they had been building these habits of success throughout the organization. Think about it this way. You start working out and 6 months later, your friend sees you in the gym doing pull-ups and thinks, man, I should be doing pull-ups. Look at how well it's worked for you. He doesn't realize that for the past 6 months, you've been eating right, sleeping 8 hours a day, drinking a ton of water, and working 3 to 5 times a week. If he only focuses on your pull-ups and tries to replicate that, he will never find success. So the point to note here is that you have to work on creating your own flywheel within your business. This is how a company that is focused on a culture of growth, innovation, and excellence, or as we say, GIE, behaves. They have a clear, defined vision and guidelines and priorities, and no matter what distractions come their way, their people continue to focus on that goal. That is how they find success. Now let's contrast that with the doom loop. The doom loop is how bad companies do things. They start with a great idea or a flash of brilliance, but they only work on it on an intermittent basis, giving it these big pushes. These huge efforts are absolutely exhausting, and over time, their nature will always lead to poor results. This in turn causes the organization to switch to a new idea because the previous one just didn't work out the way they had hoped. each time they do this, each time they switch to a new idea, they lose momentum. So these companies will eventually stop trying to get momentum and instead will focus on having this one big breakthrough that most of the time never comes. The one thing that you have to remember is its consistency. Each push builds on the previous pushes on this flywheel and gets you one step closer to a culture of GIE. That is why I've created a free special mini course called Growth Equals Innovation Plus Excellence. Here you can learn all about GIE and how you can create it by implementing these 5 habits that will eventually kick off your own flywheel. Click on the link below to check it out right now, or go to velaniconsulting.com/GIE. Again, that's velaniconsulting.com/GIE and register today. Also, subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment on this and any other topics you'd like me to cover in the future. This is Faisal Velani from Velani Consulting, and as usual, let's grow, innovate, and excel together. Until next time.